If you're unsure how to get LUTs onto your Lumix S9 or any other Lumix camera, this is the video for you. In this video, I'm going to go through how to get LUTs onto your S9 or any other Lumix camera. I have an S5 Mark II, so I'll show it on that as well, but it is basically the same. And then how to utilize the real-time LUT feature on these cameras. I'll also be showing you guys how to use LUTs on log footage that you've already filmed, as well as a special surprise later on in the video. Step number one, getting the LUTs from your PC onto your camera. This part is pretty easy. All you have to do is get your LUTs. Your LUTs will be a .cube file. You put them onto the SD card you're using in your camera. It's very important that you put them onto the root folder, so don't put them into a folder and name it LUTs, for example, because the camera won't be able to read that. Just put it into the main drive itself and you're good to go. Part of why I'm making this video is because I sell my own LUTs on my store, mckc.video. And my first customer, which shout out to Dan by the way, asked me how to use them, and I realized that not everybody will know straight away how to use them. So that's part of what this video is for, and I'll be utilizing my own LUTs in this video to show you guys how you can install them, but this video will of course apply to any LUTs you download or use, or even if you make your own, it will work exactly the same. Now with your SD card inside your camera loaded with your LUTs, it's really easy to load them into your LUT library. Head to your settings, which is the third page, and then go to image quality, which is the first page. Then go to LUT library. For me, I've got a bunch of LUTs installed already, so I need to scroll down a little bit, but for you, you might not have any. And you'll see a list that says set number 1, set 2, set 3, set 4, etc. all the way to set 40. All you have to do is click on set whichever number it is, hit load, and then select the LUT that is on your SD card. Another thing to consider is what sort of LUTs you're using. I shoot in log all the time, Panasonic V-Log to be specific. And for that, I use LUTs that have a Rec 709 conversion LUT from log to Rec 709 baked into the creative LUT itself. So there's that base, turn the image to Rec 709 from log, and then it applies the creative color set as well. That's how I've made my LUTs work from mckc.video. And if you're looking at the Fujifilm LUT specifically, there's actually a separate folder in there made for people who are filming in Rec 709. Because if you're filming in Rec 709, you don't need that conversion LUT built into the LUT itself. So I've taken that away, and it means that you can shoot in Rec 709 and still have nice, beautiful colors like what Fujifilm has. This will be totally dependent on what LUTs you download and how you shoot, but it's always good to have the option between the two types because you never know what you might be shooting. And for example, when I'm shooting photography, I don't shoot in log, I'll shoot in just the normal picture profile, but being able to throw on some Fujifilm colors is a nice touch. Now, if you want to use some LUT with footage you've shot in log, and for this, I'm going to be using Davinci Resolve Studio. That's what I use. There's a free version which has like 90% of the features, and it's almost the same, and it's amazing because everything I'm going to go over, you can totally do with the free version. You can also obviously do this with Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro. It may look a little bit different, but it's basically exactly the same. So I've loaded up a video I'm working on for next week for you guys, and in this we are on the color tab. I'm going to click on the LUTs panel, and we're going to be using my Fujifilm emulation LUTs. Now these are designed to be for both Rec 709 and log, and a really cool thing is all we have to do is double click on it and boom, it's applied. We've got a little LUT Fujicolor C200 on our node here, and the look has been applied, which is super handy dandy. Honestly, yeah, it looks great. I mean, personally, I might want to increase the exposure just a touch. And because we filmed in log and I've also filmed in 10-bit, which I probably should have mentioned earlier, but it'd be great if you guys can film in 10-bit. It's basically just more color information for your footage, which means that you can push it around further in post. Plus, the colors technically look better. If you film in 8-bit, that's totally fine as well. You can still get amazing shots with an 8-bit camera, and I've used one for literally years. What we're doing next is basically non-destructive. It would just probably work a lot better with a 10-bit camera, but let's go ahead and do it. What we're gonna do is apply a node before the LUT node. Very important that it's before the LUT node. To do this, hit Shift-S on your keyboard. Or alternatively, you can just right-click anywhere, hit Add Node, and then hit corrector and just drag this onto the line before the LUT node and the starting position. And what we're gonna do is just click on the curves here and I'm just gonna push the shadows like a touch. This is more just to demonstrate it, to be honest. I kind of liked how contrasty it is, but I mean, this does look a little bit better now. Like it's just a tad brighter, you can see more, but perhaps it's personal preference. Now this would apply to, let's say if your shot was a little bit too warm, you could cool it down and this would be non-destructive. We could just bring the temperature down and now my shot looks a bit more blue. It doesn't affect the clip in any negative way at all. Just want to make sure you put it on a node before your LUT node so that it's non-destructive. For this next point, I've duplicated the LUT just for demonstration purposes, because what you can also do is if the LUT is still too strong, even after you've made your adjustments, you're just finding maybe it's adding too much contrast or too much saturation or whatever it is, you can also reduce the intensity of the LUTs in post as well. If we go over here to the keying tab, we can reduce the key output to, let's say, like half, and that will just reduce how much this node is being applied to the image itself. And if we take it all the way down to 0, for example, then boom, it's not being applied and the shot now looks much better because there's just the one LUT being applied instead of 2, which is crazy. But you can do this with like a combination of LUTs, for example, if you wanted to create a unique look, and that is how you'd edit your vlog footage with a LUT. All right, now there's one more thing here I'm going to show you guys when it comes to color grading. This unfortunately is only for Davinci Resolve users, so if you use Premiere Pro or Final Cut, I totally understand if you're dropping off here, and I hope you at least hit like and subscribe just to show a little bit of support. And you know, I make loads of videos like these all the time. But if you do use Davinci Resolve, and this even works in the free version, pay attention because this next thing is such a great hack that Davinci Resolve users are so lucky to take advantage of. In Davinci Resolve, we create looks based off of a node system, and these nodes create what's called a power grade. Now these power grades not only hold color adjustments, but they can also host effects. And that's the one thing that I hope, does this count as one if I'm holding up 2 fingers? No, right? Those are things you have to add on in post, and when it comes to my Kodak LUTs, for example, it's kind of a shame because Kodak, the look across all of the Kodak stock, there's film grain. It's a noticeable feature, so not being able to transfer that with my LUTs, to me it feels like I'm producing an almost incomplete thing for you guys, but it's just because of how LUTs work. Switching over from LUTs to the power grade view, we are going to look again at the Fujifilm looks I've got, and we'll just go ahead with the Fuji Color C200, which is the LUT we were using earlier as well, but these are the power grades for all of them. And you'll notice with the power grades, there's no like Rec 709 version, because with power grades, you don't need to have like versions to account for if something is this way or that way. You can actually just get all of the nodes that were used to create the look. If I applied this power grade to a Rec 709 shot that wasn't filmed in log, it would probably look like this, which is awful. But then what's cool is you can just take the CST nodes and turn them off, and then it would look correct and normal. And again, I've got 2 CST nodes just for demonstration purposes because I film everything in log, but this is just to kind of demonstrate the point that I'm talking about. So we'll reset everything now. But yeah, it's really great because you've got the whole building block chain of how this look was made, and you can completely customize it, and it is 100% non-destructive if you need to make changes. Like with LUTs, it's non-destructive. They'll get to a point where it's like you're pushing things a little bit, especially if you're filming in 8-bit. But with power grades, all I have to do is the same process. If I want this shot to be a little bit brighter, Shift S to put a node before it, and then I can just tweak things in the curves. And it's just applying this node to the log footage first and then everything else afterwards. Or alternatively, let's say I actually want to tweak the contrast in the shot itself without adding a node beforehand, because you could do that as well. There's multiple ways to do this. I can go into the contrast node here and just push the shadows a little bit. Just get them a little bit higher so now we can see more in the shadows. I'm just gonna push it a bit more to be a bit extreme, but like you can see, you know, it was like here before, and now we're up here, and you can see more into the shadows, and boom. And I did that in the node structure that was already set up in the power grade. But the next favorite thing I've got for why I love power grades so much, especially over LUTs, is because they can transfer grain and other effects. If I had, let's say, halation on this shot as well, that would transfer over with the power grade. But because I've just put grain, at least that transfers over as well, which is a shame because with LUTs, you can't do that. LUTs can only transfer color information because they tell like, hey, green, be this shade of green, and blue, be this shade of blue. They can't then also say, oh, and everyone have grain on top of you. Power grades, because you're transferring essentially a preset, they allow you to transfer grain and other effects, which can be extremely handy for really quick application of cinematic looks. and you can always customize them yourself afterwards. I have 3 collections of power grades, a teal and orange range, a Kodak emulation range, and a Fujifilm emulation range. And these power grades are all totally customizable, just like I've shown in this video here. And I love each set individually so much. They're different, they're interesting, and I like using them a lot. I use the Fujifilm ones a lot, I have to admit. I see why people want the Fujifilm look. It's a good look, and I feel like I've done the looks justice. A lot of research went into them and everything, so you can check them out, link in the description below, just below that like button. And that's everything for this video, guys. I hope it was useful. I hope that you found the information that you're looking for. And just for sticking around this long, I'm gonna give you guys 20% off all of my power grades by using the discount code PepsiMax. Yes, that's because it's always in the video. This would be good for any order of any power grades for the next month. Enjoy that. And let me know which ones you like the most. Ask me any questions about them if you do have any of them. I offer full customer support. I get back to everybody because I want to make sure that these products work for you guys and that you're happy with them, and anything I can do to make them better. I like how that just changed as we're mid-recording. Anything I can do to make the products I'm making for you guys better, I will 100% take on board and implement to make them better for you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. We're almost at 3K. Crazy. Here's another video for you guys to watch. Enjoy.